welcome our beloved viewers to RTD's News English Edition. As usual, we begin tonight's news with the major and top highlights. Let's follow. Opening of the summit between the heads of state and government of Arab countries and China in Riyadh, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. And on international scene, Sweden and Finland in NATO, Washington expects Turkey's green light soon. Those were the major and top highlights. Welcome back to our newsroom, our beloved viewers. The China-Arab League Summit opened this afternoon at the King Abdulaziz International Conference Center in Riyadh, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. This major high-level event between China and the Arab world constituted a platform for boosting China-Arab cooperation to assess the bilateral relations between Beijing and the Arab countries, but also to review the ways and means to deepen the Sino-Arab ties and partnership. On his arrival at the King Abdulaziz International Conference Center, the President of the Republic, His Excellency Mr. Ismail Omar Guelleh, was warmly welcomed by the Crown Prince of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and Deputy Prime Minister Mohammed bin Salman. The President then took part in a family photo with several heads of state and government of Arab countries before the opening of the summit. The summit brought together heads of state of Arab countries, including the President of the Republic, His Excellency Mr. Ismail Omar Guelleh, who was at the head of a strong delegation. Djibouti, this meeting, Sino-Arab, is intended to revive a strong and synergistic cooperation to address the current challenges in the world that has an impact in different areas, including economic security, and revive the Sino-Arab partnerships. Note, in addition to the Sino-Arab Summit, was held two summits, namely Sino Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and the Summit of China Gulf countries. Named China Gulf countries. In his speech during the summit, the President of the Republic, His Excellency Mr. Ismail Omar Guelleh, said, and I quote, "We meet today in the midst of an important historical phase full of hope and constructive actions. We meet in the context of the first summit to be held between the Arab and Chinese parties, which integrates a new era in the process of close cooperation and strategic partnerships between the two parties. We could not but express great satisfaction at this important and remarkable development, which embodies the firm common will and determination to improve the mechanisms of collective action to achieve the noble common goals and objectives. Our value represents an opportunity and a valuable occasion to present the progress achieved in the areas of fruitful cooperation existing between the Arab and Chinese parties, and to explore new horizons for the partnerships that binds the two parties. In this regard, it is of a great importance to foster the spirit of friendship and cooperation between the Arab countries and China, and to work together to build an Arab-Chinese society in crisis and solidarity, aspiring to a better common future, and pressing forward with the confidence and firmness to the new era, drawing on the long and rich history that characterized the deep-rooted Arab-Chinese relations. They have come determined to put all capabilities at the service of sustainable development. In this context, we welcome the creation and development initiatives launched by His Excellency President Xi Jinping, such as the Belt and Road Initiative and the Global Development Initiative, which reflects the interests of the Friendly People's Republic of China in pushing global development to new, more sustainable and comprehensive levels. In this regard, I would like to commend China's leading role in advancing the development process in the Republic of Djibouti, as there is a constructive partnerships between the two countries that has brought bilateral relations to an unprecedented level, as well as the implementation of giant joint development projects not only at the national level, but also at the regional level, which have opened up broad perspectives for the modernization and transformation process in Djibouti and the entire Horn of Africa region. In light of the successive international transformations and growing challenge, we are more than ever called upon to strengthen cooperation and joint coordination in order to keep pace with these changes and to find innovative solutions to the various challenges. In this regard, we stress the importance of China's role as a balancing factor in international relations due to its complex stature in the international system and in the march of global progress. We also emphasize the importance of the Arab countries as an international group with a unique geographical location, political weight, and a recognized historical presence. There is no doubt that this makes joint coordination and cooperation between the two parties in regional and international forums a virtual issue that has a decisive impact on important issues. In the same context, we express our testimony and appreciation for China's principled and firm position in support of the interests of the Arab nation and its just causes. Which is the Palestinian cause. We also reiterate our support for the One China principle, which has been endorsed by the international community as the basis for democratic relations between China and other countries. The President of the Republic, His Excellency Mr. Ismail Omar Guelleh, met this Friday mid-morning in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, with his Chinese counterpart, Mr. Xi Jinping. This is a virtual audience that took place on the sidelines of the ChinaArab Summit that opened its doors today in the Saudi capital. This extended working meeting between President Guelleh and his Chinese counterpart served as a framework for the appreciation of virtual relations, friendship, and cooperation between the two countries and peoples with long-standing ties forged by a synergistic cooperation established between the two nations in the wake of Djibouti's independence. The discussion were then extended to the state of evolution of strategic and win-win partnerships that the two countries maintain in almost all areas of development. In this particular area, the talks highlighted the resilience of both parties to subscribe to the objectives agreed between them despite the effects of repeated international crises, and have provided the general definition of a new framework for the execution of duties and commitments more in line with the realities and socio-economic data of a world in perpetual change. Extended working meeting in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Mr. Mahmoud Ali Yusuf, took part in this bilateral meeting between the President of the Republic and his Chinese counterpart. Also noteworthy in the presence of the talks of the Ambassador of the Republic of Djibouti to Republic of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, His Excellency Mr. Diyaddin Saeed Ba Makrama, and the permanent representative of our country to the League of Arab States, His Excellency Ambassador Ahmad Ali Bare. The National Assembly organizes parliamentary caravans in collaboration with the Inter-Parliamentary Union, the European Union, and the World Africa Affairs Canada on the theme of human rights of women in rural areas and women's representations in politics. The first meeting of meetings and sharing was held in Arta on December 8th in the presence of Mr. Mohammed Ali Hamad, President of the National Assembly, and Mr. Duwat Pashiko, President of the IPU. The National Assembly was accompanied by 3 parliamentarians from the region, namely Aisha Muhammad Ali, Umar Wabiri Ammalo, and Jibril Abdullah Migane. The theme chosen for this parliamentary conference is Human Rights of Rural Women and Representation of Women, in which is directly derived from the work plan of the Parliamentary Commission on Human Rights, which provides, among other things, to collect the opinions and expectations of citizens on the theme of human rights of women in rural areas and to promote equality between men and women. As a reminder, in 2018, 17 women parliamentarians have been elected DPTs, which represents 26.1% of the number of parliamentarians present in the hemicycle. This year, Djibouti has recorded one of the highest increases in the number of women parliamentarians in the world. This major step forward for the Republic of Djibouti was a direct consequence of the will of the head of state, His Excellency Mr. Ismail Omar Gelle, who brought the law establishing a minimum quota of 25% of women elected to the National Assembly. Under the high patronage of the Ministry of Trade and Tourism, organized yesterday at the People's Palace, a day of awareness on the importance of standards and its implementations. Chaired by the Ministry of Trade and Tourism, Mr. Mohammed Warsame, and sought the participation of the Minister of Agriculture, Mohammed Awale, and Minister Delegate in charge of Decentralization, Mr. Qasim Harun Ali, the Secretary of State in charge of Investment and Private Sector Development, Mrs. Safiya Ali Gadeli, the recent development of standardization, and has been marked by the important impetus given to the international standardization by the globalization that is gradually imposed. With the globalization of markets and the acceleration of technological change, standardization and certifications are becoming tools for economic actions to develop trade. The role of ADN is to animate the standardization activities and to meet the expectations of the economic actors and to anticipate the evolution of their needs. The Minister of Agriculture, Water, Fisheries, Livestock and Fisheries Resources, Mr. Mohammed Ahmed Awale, was pleased to have participated in this Awareness Day of the importance of standards and its implementations. In the same context, the Minister of Trade and Tourism, Mr. Mohammed Warsama, recalled that the creation of this agency is part of the implementation of government policy in the field of standardization, metrology, accreditation, but especially in the field of promoting the equality of products and services. The Minister of Decentralization closed yesterday the workshop on the preparation of the budget organized by Expertise France as part of the ADIL program support to decentralization and local initiative funded by the European Union from December 6 to 8 at the Sheraton Hotel. This workshop, led by experts from DEL, focused on the initiation of the budget preparation, the recall of the classical budgetary principles, and the preparation of the 2023 draft budgets of the regions. The experts, Mr. Ba in local finance, Mr. Said Ismail, specialist in public expenditure, and Mr. Abdel Fattah Musa, tax specialist, took turns to lead this workshop. During the closing ceremony, Mr. Abdel Fattah presented the ministry with the recommendations that are a result of the discussions and debates. The recommendations concern both the budgetary aspect and the strengthening of the region's capacities. The Minister Delegate in charge of decentralization, Mr. Qasim Harun Ali, in his speech delivered on this occasion, welcomed the holding of this workshop devoted to the development of draft budgets 2023 regions. The first meeting of the steering committee of the project to support decentralization and public governance in Djibouti was held yesterday mornings at the People's Palace. The ProGov is the first project of the French Development Agency in support of governments in Djibouti. It is consistent with the national priorities and targets the decentralization sector, promoted as a tool to reduce regional inequalities between the capital and the regions. The project remains a means to rebalance the development model of the city of Djibouti, the first of its kind, financed on a grant from the French Ministry of Europe and Foreign Affairs through the French Development Agency to the tune of 8 million euros. ProGov targets the decentralization sector, which has been experiencing a new impetus since 2016. According to the mayor of the city, the ProGov is based on three axes, namely strengthening the human, financial, organizational, and machineral capital of the communities of the city of Djibouti is a manner consistent with the development in the field of urban planning and by revitalizing of local democracy by promoting the emergence of local initiatives in a framework of transparency and accountability. The Djiboutian table tennis players, girls, offered the sixth medal to the country during the third day of competition, counting for the 12th Games of the Commission of Youth and Sports of the Indian Ocean, which took place in Mauritius. At the Beau Bassin Complex, the Du Seredo and Nasima won their first match against the Seychelles 3-0. The first set was 11-0. The second set was 11-2, and the third set as same as the first set at 11-0. Seredo Mohamed Kayad and Nasima Mahmoud Umar, they won the bronze medal, synonymous with the third place, a very good result for Djibouti considering the level of the islands in this discipline.
waxaan ka soo qablay turaaga waan qaaday ilaahay baa mahadlay ilaahay baan duceystay ilaahay waxaan doonayay uu siiyey balanta qaadan waan buuxiyay waxaan ma ilaahay hooday aabahay iyo wasiirada dhalinta dhaqanka iyo madaxweynaha Djibouti iyo marwadiisa Khadra Maxamuud Xayd iyo Djibouti wixii dhamaan idaawanay oo dhan.
Moving towards the international scene now, Finland and Sweden joined the United States on Thursday in calling on Turkey to give the green light to its accession to NATO, saying they have met Ankaran security requirements. U.S. diplomatic chief Antony Blinken and his Swedish and Finnish counterparts refrained from criticizing Turkey, which is still blocking the two Nordic countries' accession to the Atlantic Islands during a joint press conference in Washington after torrential talks. Well, by this, our beloved viewers, we finally conclude this edition. Thank you for being with us and make sure to tune in later for more. Have a wonderful evening. Take care.